Commander the format and Commander the product are at odds with each other, and this will likely only continue to be more true as time goes on. Commander, casual at least, the format is meant to be for social play, this being mutual enjoyment over competition, where players' competitive nature becomes at odds with the enjoyment of the table, an issue emerges. If players come away from a game feeling like they got stomped due to a lack of balance, this is a problem. Often, this is due to a lack of the second element of the social aspect of the format, communication. If players, particularly a group that haven't played together before, are unable to articulate their expectations for the style of game they want to play prior to the game starting, it is much more likely that someone will come away from that game unhappy with how it went. This might be due to a number of factors. It's pretty nerve-wracking for a lot of us to sit down at a table of total strangers and eloquently lay out exactly what it is we're looking for from the game we're about to play. I've had games with people where they didn't even tell me their name until halfway through. This makes it a lot easier for players to default to just playing Commander with people they know already, at home, or to travel to the LGS with a pre-made pod. But Commander is Magic's most popular format, and pick-up games at stores and conventions are an inevitability, and so they should be. I've had plenty of great games with total strangers, and made a lot of really good friends with people I started playing with regularly this way. I'm not saying that everyone needs to become a social butterfly in order to play this game, but you will need to be able to communicate your expectations to a reasonable extent if you're looking to play the game this way. A way that this can be improved, however, is an update to the descriptors we use for our decks. Numerical power level has been a joke in this community for a long time. Precons are getting stronger with nearly every new set, and "it's not CEDH" could literally mean anything. New players, of which many are being introduced through Commander, may well have no idea what CEDH even is. Opting to regulate powerful cards that may be banned in other formats by assigning them a point value, then setting a cap on the total permitted point value for any deck, is something that creates a great degree of consistency across the format. And while it is still the subjective opinion of a rules committee what each card's point value should be, it is a much greater degree of objectivity than that old chestnut of "it's a 7. Where I don't think this system is a perfect fit for Commander is in the reality that Commander is a different format for everyone who plays it. And no one-size-fits-all solution is going to be the best for it. It also doesn't feel like a ceiling is the best way to moderate pub games in a casual format, as gamers, much like bad drivers, tend to view this as a target rather than a limit. In the September 2024 quarterly update, Toby Elliott stated that the Rules Committee is working on new tools with Wizards to use in pre-game conversations, and I'm deeply curious and excited to see what these are. So let's talk about Commander the product. We have had precons since 2011, and they have changed a lot since then. Take it from me, who has read the deck lists for all of them. While over the years a few very powerful cards have originated from these products, like two Color Partners, Icoria's Free Spells, and Dockside Extortionist, more value is often found in the choice of reprints in these lists. And as consumers, we are naturally obsessed with value. When you buy a product, you want to feel that you have gotten value for your money, naturally, but unfortunately in this game that value is best estimated by their price on the secondary market, which definitely does not exist. The value of a card on the secondary market is likely to be primarily decided by its availability, or lack thereof, and how powerful or relevant the card is in the formats it is played. So, naturally, when a precon like Call of Mana's Deadly Disguise includes a card like Jeska's Will, card with limited printings, a powerful effect, and a $20 to $30 price tag, we get a little bit excited and our estimations of that product's value go up. We, as customers, want Jeska's will. We want value, particularly as the price of precons and the hobby at large increase. And especially as we get products with the promise of power and a price tag to match in premier sets like Commander Masters and Modern Horizons 3. We all love our friend Tim's janky chair artwork Typal deck, but if WotC tried to sell it to us for the price of Eldrazi Unbound, or Eldrazi Incursion, or Eldrazi Home and Away, as then will no doubt soon be, then we as a customer base would reject it. Unless it included a reprint of Aloro Ageless Ascetic, in which case, maybe this charitable cause decklist isn't really so bad. I am not advocating for WotC to take control of the format away from the rules committee. In fact, I think that would be pretty terrible for the already somewhat dim-feeling future of Commander. I am acknowledging the fact that the rules committee faces an impossible task, taking into account the needs and wants of the player base while attempting to regulate the product created for it, that very often completely disregards the philosophy of the format altogether. I find it hard to believe that any member of the committee would sign off on a card like Nadu where they consulted about it at the design stage. I'm also going to take the opportunity to say the RC are a group of real people who clearly care about maintaining the format. And while you don't have to agree with their decisions on card legality or ideas on how Commander should be played, you should under no circumstances be communicating your dissent in the form of targeted abuse. And if you have done or plan to do so, you need to take time to examine yourself, your relationship with this game, and your beliefs around what is appropriate behavior towards others. And if you can't do that, you can get in the bin. The last thing I want to touch on here is that Commander as a format has a boogeyman problem. Pub stompers exist in pretty much every game that has a competitive element, it's true, and Magic heavily facilitates this issue by having cards in its pool that are objectively more powerful than others, and are often of limited access to players through their price on the secondary market or their rarity in sets and boosters. Sol Ring is a busted card, but it's a lesser issue than other mana accelerants in the format because if a new player buys a precon, unless it's Painbow, they have it. And yes, it often feels like most games are tilted in one player's favor because they happen to draw in their opening hand, but if everyone's running it, everyone's got the same chance that they are that player, and due to its availability, they can. When it's not just a Sol Ring, however, but also a Jeweled Lotus, and a Mana Crypt, and a Chrome Mox, and so on, there is a reason it doesn't feel like a casual deck, because those cards aren't readily available unless, before the banning of Lotus and Crypt, you were able and willing to spend the money to acquire them, or got very lucky opening packs. Everyone seems to have a story where someone's 7 completely dominated the game, and these narratives being perpetuated of this omnipresent threat that games will be ruined by these cards is what likely should lead to them and many other cards being banned in order to protect the mutual enjoyment of a group of players. At the end of the day, if pub stomping in Magic's most popular format is as real an issue as it seems to be, and that we as a community cannot regulate it through our pre-game conversations and how we talk about our decks, then the rules committee can and should intervene. Yes, it can be devastating to feel like your investment has become worthless, or that you're losing one of your favorite cards to a ban. Hell, I got to play my Lotus about 3 times before it got banned. But formats, even eternal ones, do need changes to realign them with their overall philosophy when they stray too far out of the margins. There are logical progressions for Commander in every different direction. If we as players were able to perfectly communicate and self-regulate, there would be no need for a ban list at all. But if, without a degree of control from the rules committee, pub stomping is rife and no one's actually enjoying the biggest Magic format, then naturally the ban list will need to get longer to curate the experience that players. Where do you see Commander heading in the future? How do you feel about these bans, and what could you see being banned next? Do you have any personal experiences of people misrepresenting the power of their decks, or is it a less of a problem than we think? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And before I go, I just want to acknowledge I've been away for a while. Life has been a little tumultuous, to say the least. I'm hoping to get things back on track with the channel, as well as ensure its long-term health. Currently, the best way to do this is to leave me a tip on my coffee, linked below, and of course, liking and subscribing as I continue my push to monetize the channel. Shares are hugely appreciated as well, and if you want to keep up to date with my brews and general thoughts, I'm over on Twitter at AngryGreenMTG. Thanks so much for sticking with me, and I will hopefully see you soon.